thought you meant PM.
Look what I got. Hey, guess what I got?
Oh, they aren't gonna fit.
Guess who I got this from? It's not mine. I wish it was. Robert and Cortez Coleman with Happy Buds.
Happy Buds.
What's up, guys?
What up, man? How you doing today, brother?
Thank you for coming in.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah. Bringing the good stuff, too, man.
Always.
You know, I had a chance to smoke some of your medicine 2 weeks ago, and put me in a very, very creative mood. It was your Mac 1?
Yes, sir. Mac 1.
Yeah. It was a little different, though. It seems, what you got going on over there?
Hey, man, I tell people I'm not the grower, I'm the shower.
Show me what you got.
Man, my boy Jeff over there at PAK Family Farms, Indo, you can follow him on Instagram under Fallen Leaves, Indo Trees. The guy, out of Humboldt, he just, man, he got that thumb. He grows some great cannabis. I've been in Oklahoma, my whole life, been all over, the United States, traveling, looking at marijuana, smoking marijuana. And so I've seen some of the best out there, from all this designer stuff and rapper weed, whatever people, call it.
Right.
And this guy does that, he grows that medicine, recreational, whatever people use it for. It's connoisseur. I call it connoisseur flower. That's what it is. It's connoisseur flower from the start to the finish. He has it. Like I said, I started, one of the first review pages here in Oklahoma, just driving around reviewing products, reviewing marijuana. I love weed. I love weed.
Man, I've heard a lot about your review page, man, and it's like it's like you mention your name in the industry in certain areas, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy." It's like, man, and finally we got you on the show. It's like, hey, get that Cortez guy. Anyway, you've been going around and trying to interview people like forever.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Just driving around, checking out the dispensaries. Like I said, I love marijuana. It's always been a part of my life, man, since a kid, man. Since peddling this stuff just to make a living, and it's been a part of medicine before I even knew it was medicine. Before everybody knew it was medicine, it was already medicine. They just didn't know it was medicine.
So you made a living doing it?
Made a living my whole life. It's all I ever known,
Yeah.
And so it was just right that I had to get in it. And so when 788 passed, I was going through some really hard times at the moment, about to leave Oklahoma. And I've watched the industry everywhere else in the United States, people getting in it, saying they care about people and this and that.
Yeah.
And I really come from that life. And so, I just got an idea of started driving around, smoking weed on Facebook and reviewing product. I knew that, I would get a lot of, flack from a lot of people for years. And still today, I run a mixed martial arts gym. I've changed my life over the last 17 years, been blessed to with mixed martial arts and found my thing.
Yeah, man, I want to dive into that here in just a little bit, that's for sure. But I'm interested, I want to talk a little bit more of what you were trying to accomplish there. I get it, man. You're trying to bring not just culture, you're trying to bring education in your own way to connect with your own audience and the people that you can connect with, and I love that. I appreciate that very much. It inspires me to do more. And it should inspire other people to do more, because there is that connection.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be a certain way that you connect with people. You don't have to get online and have a phrase.
No doubt, not at all.
Or a motto or anything like that. If you think that's a bunch of bullshit, find something else that you don't think is a bunch of bullshit, have fun, and educate.
100%.
Yeah. 100%. I love it, man.
100%, man.
Anyway, so past that, you're in the mixed martial arts. I know that.
Oh yeah.
You're somewhat of a badass. I can say that. You got me all intimidated coming in here.
No, man. Not at all.
Like, man. I got to go out there and do some push-ups or something. Feel better. Anyway, so let's talk about that, man. Can we dive into first? Let's not talk about that. I want to talk about the terps that you guys are bringing and how you guys two met.
The live tunes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so how we met. Just just like the other part of my story, man, it's been a movie. It's been crazy. Happy Bud, like I said, it was just it was created off of just a darkness spot, coming out of a dark spot, going into the light with happiness, continuing to move forward, and driving around reviewing products. CBD is something that I got introduced to years ago, by being in mixed martial arts, by making a name for myself. People wants to sponsor you, marketing's, advertising is everything. And so with that being said, by being around the right type of people, I got to meet a lot of different big companies in the CBD world. And so, I used to, take a lot of different CBD company, stuff, used to, promote a lot of different companies that used to pay me to take this stuff. And CBD actually worked for me, fighting in the streets, you know what I mean? Been shot and, pain. And so I used to eat a lot of opioids, like a lot of them, and even before I started fighting, just as a young kid growing up, I used to take opioids, you know what I mean? Just, I'm not going to say it was for medicine. It was just to cover all the other pain and other stuff going through in life, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of a mental thing, too. Psychological thing.
Yeah. And so CBD, man, once I found CBD alone, didn't even really know about the whole medicine part. I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, I've been into this medicine part. Right. But I smoked weed and then I take CBD and I feel good. You know what I mean? Like certain things stop hurting and this and that. And so you become a believer. And so, I started really, buying into this CBD stuff years ago, taking it, and didn't need no more opiates, and CBD rub and all that, taking it. And so with that being said, how I met this guy, after helping a company build, I used to represent a company called Terp House CBD oil. And, I'm a cool dude. I'll represent anybody brand. I don't need nothing from you just to represent your brand, especially if you're a small brand and you come from where I come from and you seem like you're a good person, but a lot of people can seem like, but anyway, help build up this company, for years, representing it, putting my friends in this gear, this and that. And long story short, man, money changes things, people, money changes things. And and so, this guy got to kind of getting off, the handle, talking to people, certain type of ways. And I'm the type of person you can't talk to that kind of way, Right. I'm nice, super nice, but you're going to get treated the way you treat me. You know what I mean? Period. And so we end up falling out. I stopped messing with that CBD and I wasn't able to just take care of people like I was, reasonable prices. A lot of CBD, and you go a lot of places and you look on people's shelves and you'll notice that CBD is very expensive in a lot of places. And it's not always the store fault either, because a lot of these companies is just, overpricing, And so in my review thing, I was telling people when that happened, just like everything else in my life has been spoken into, it's been just from believing. That's what tattooed on my neck. It's on everything in my gym. It's just believing. And so I was just like, one day, I'm going to have a Happy Bud CBD. I'm going to have CBD one day that everybody can afford. I'm going to be able to give it away. I didn't know how I was going to do this, but I knew that I was going to do it. Right. And so I had a lot of friends that was, that I thought was friends. I say that was wanting to get in the industry, and they had the financials to get in it. And so one day I was, I Googled, how to make CBD oil, and schools and tools came up. And so, I Googled it because, like I said, I had a lot of friends who was wanting to try to learn how to do stuff. And so, I'm a hustler. I'm always trying to find resources for people too. I'm a network king as well. And so I Googled up this, Googled it, schools and tools came up, and I called the place, and I was like, I'm Cortez Coleman. I'm out here in Oklahoma, 788 just plast, man. I got a little brand called Happy Bud, and it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be bigger than like that brand Cookie one day, man. I watched what Burner done. He's salute to Burner, man, the pioneer who has said it, for guys to show you that, get you a brand, stand behind it, stand for something, and you can go get it, right? Yeah. And so I saw it, and I was like, but Happy Bud's different. And so I was like, listen, man, I'm here in Oklahoma. I'm into CBD. I see that's what you do. And I want to learn how to do this. And I got friends that want to maybe take your education. And so he was like, okay, I can send you over a scope of work and this and that. And so he sent me over a scope of work, and I saw it, and I was just like, oh, shit. Right now, brother can't afford that right now. Like I said, I was going through a thing with an ex-partner that literally had me down. I was about to move broke, right? And so I was like, shh. But I had a lot of friends who wanted to get in the industry, and so I was doing resources. So I told a lot of my friends, I was like, yo, I got a guy who's up in Seattle, man. He teaches fucking extracting. Like, the dude, you need to get with him. Not a lot of people in the market. It's fresh. Not a lot of people is doing it right. I've sold drugs my whole life. I know what I'm doing. Listen to me. You need to get people who have sold drugs on your team. You can be the big. You can know all you want. You can know all you want about business, but this is a big monster. Like, you can run this business, but if you don't got anybody, and white, black, Asian, you got to get somebody on your team that smoke weed and sold drugs. Okay, you got to get you a smart drug dealer. But none of them really listened to me, right? And so they would never use his information. And so I called him, and I was like, listen, man, I can move CBD. I was like, my brand's going to be huge. And I was like, I can move a lot. I got people wanting stuff. And so long story short, he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. So he brought like a half a kilo, few liters of isolate CBD. All right, people, CBD is what he brought. Okay. Distillate CBD is what he brought. So, okay, he brought that to Oklahoma, and like literally that night, boom, I pushed it. It's sold, right? Okay. Then he came back, boom, pushed some stuff. And so, it's the game. It's so many fake people out here. So many people say they can do this, say they can do that, bullshit. And so you don't know. And so he didn't know. And so, he left, and he just kept sending me CBD here, right? With his brand on it, and I'm moving it, giving it to people though. Yeah. I'm literally giving it. I'm talking about thousands of dollars stuff, giving it away to people, right? Giving it away. And I'm like, man, this dude ain't asking for no money. Like, what the hell? Giving away
fishy,
something fishy here, right? And so we kept building, and he keeps seeing me building. I'm building Happy Bud brand, still driving around, smoking weed, reviewing shops. I started 5-storing shops, putting my logo on them. Yeah. I started the shirt, I started this shirt, right here, which was, inspired off of, Jiu-Jitsu Saves Lives.
There you go.
And then that's my boy's shirt there. But this Cannabis Saves Lives was inspired off of that, right?
Yeah.
And so, I was driving around, putting these in stores because I needed income. And then just like the other shirt, and my next shirt that I came up with, which was the Happy Bud character, which is all about positivity, you know what I mean? And so I came up with this guy right here. And if you actually look at him, it's actually me drawn into a bud.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so this is was started that, and so, just kept grinding. He saw it was real, and so he was just like, yo, let's I like to partner up and help you do your CBD thing, right? And so I was like, let's roll. And so we started, putting my CBD, as I got right here. I'll show you guys this. We started putting my CBD and stuff together, just grinding from the reviewing, smoking pot on Facebook, believing, no big investors. And he started, branding, started putting my CBD freeze gel, like super great stuff, and just was giving it away, not selling this stuff. I'm just giving it away to people. People gonna either come back, they're gonna talk shit about it, especially me. I'm on social media. I'm loud. People that don't know me listen to me and be like, this guy full of himself. He's this, he's that. No, not at all. I haven't always been like this. I believe in myself now because growing up, what I've overcame and with mixed martial arts, it taught me to use my voice. And so I use my voice for a lot of people that want to speak, you know what I mean, that won't speak. So I'll say those things that other people want to say and won't say, you know what I mean? And so that's what I do. And that's where I'm continuing to strive and get to where I'm at, because I'm going to speak up on what I want, and just continue just to be real. And so people tell you, and so with that being said, if my stuff's bad, people's gonna go, haters is gonna, boom. If it's good, people's gonna come back. Well, people come back and buy the product. We don't give it out for you to come back to buy it. I literally give this out just because that's where I come from. Before 788, me and my homeboys, and just like there's a lot of other people, white and black people, Asians, Mexican, who's come from selling drugs, who had to do this for a living. Yep. These people have been good bud tenders. They've been having, food drives and giving away stuff. We've been doing this. Every year, I go out of my own pocket to do bike drives, coat drives. Not many churches, not many people help me. I don't do this to go get tax write-off or to look good, to do this, A lot of people that's in this industry, I feel like that they do all this stuff, to look good or to get tax write-off, Right. I've been doing this shit but way before 788, And so when I saw this opportunity and with marijuana, and I knew that a lot of people was going to use this marijuana as a crutch and say they care about the people. Yes. But yet they're not even caring about themselves. They're not even taking care of themselves, And so by meeting this guy and bringing him down, and we're partnering up, and he got in the industry to, he'll tell his story on helping his father and making this stuff. And all of his products is clean. It's tested. They've done several tests when they didn't even have to. And so it was like all the lines, it was meant to be, right? And so we partnered up and just kept grinding, and here we are now, 7 months into it. We got a Happy Bud dispensary open that I spoke into existence 3 years ago. When I just started out, reviewing products, showing the people that.
Where is that located?
That's in Ada, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Right across from the cement plant on Ladder Road.
Okay.
You can't miss it. It's a place for everybody. I tell people, man, Happy Bud is for the rich, the poor, the middle class. It doesn't matter. You can come in there and feel like a rapper, feel like a celebrity.
You get a lot of college students in there?
We get a lot of college students in there, and a lot of people really don't even really know just that we're there. I'm not doing a lot of marketing. We don't spend a lot of money on marketing. Right. It's just my social media. We make some posts here and there. But like I said, man, Happy Bud was just built off strangers, literally, just meeting so many people offline.
Yeah. What interests me about that, I went to school in Ada. I went to college there, and it always it's something that I think about whenever I go through college towns. It's like there's still that stigma there for college students that are still under, especially med students or anything like that. And I'm wondering if they actually go into the dispensary and you're able to talk with them and see how that mentality, how that culture is coming about.
Man, it's coming along, but still, man, in small towns, certain people, depends on where you're at, don't even want to be seen.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just don't want to be seen. Different jobs there.
Yeah.
And so
I'm just, I'm curious about the college life though, because it's supposed to be progressive, correct?
Right.
But yet, there seems to still be that very big stigma about it. I heard that somebody was telling me about a lot of college students that are they're still being, cornered and being called potheads and ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
All this stuff because they've chosen this as their medicine. And just, when is that tipping point going to come? Is what I'm interested in.
Man.
Education, I think.
Yeah.
Education in college? Are you fucking kidding me? What? I thought college was for culture shocks. No. Yeah, man, it is. It is. We'll just continue to do that, but I'm interested to see how that's coming along.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And so, like I was saying, meeting that guy and met him, brought him down, and we just been, creating different products. He creates all of my products. Like I said, this is massage lotion right there, and he also does.
I'd like some of this.
Yeah, it's a massage cream. You can actually massage. It's a cream that you can actually use as a massage. You can use it 30, 45, 60 minutes without having to dump out a bunch more. So a lot of fun. Yeah, not just the same old thing, right? You got lotions, this, that, and the other. Well, I haven't seen a massage cream.
Right.
Yeah, we've had that over, I don't know, it's like 8 years we've had that formula.
You have different, I guess, I'm assuming that you have different, what do you call it, flavors? It's not.
Well, we do
flavors.
milligrams. We have strain-specific medicine. It all depends.
Yeah,
right? What the
yeah.
need is and how we're doing it.
Oh, wow. So you get that. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I think
That's
on
interesting.
that actually might cite the farm, field, and strain-specific on there. It might say Stone Farm, Suver Haze on that label for just the topical.
Wow. Okay.
Then you know what it is. The next time you come back, if it's effective for you, you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that is how we do it in medicine.
Yeah, it is. And, I've seen it in creams, but they're always...
You'll never, it's mystery, everything. You never
Right.
know what field, what
this
farm,
is
what
very,
strand.
very
None of that
interesting. I like
information's
that.
available to you.
Huh.
Yeah, it's not a modern concept.
Yeah.
And this right here is our CBD, CBG, and CBN gummies as well.
We call it the 3 C's.
We ain't got none of those big fancy labels. You dig what I mean? It's coming. It's a brand. Like I said, Happy Bud is a brand that was just built to show anybody that they too can go do it. That's what it was created off of. That they can go do it too.
Yeah, man. It's not coming, then you're there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this is great. This is great packaging and
I
branding.
love the
There's nothing wrong
packaging.
with
Yeah.
this.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
These
Yeah.
pre-rolls are like all of
I mean, you've
Right.
accomplished a lot here.
Yeah.
This is great.
And so, and now back to those
I'm ready to
terpenes.
taste it.
So,
Yeah, no, dude, please. They're all, you'll love
So-
it. They're
so-
Can I
not
go
a
ahead?
mechanized. Please crack it.
yeah. So,
bracket.
Yep, got a safety seal on it.
You can-
Child-proof. Always.
I'm making it a little tough on the kids, though. That's not such an easy one. People
So that's
complain,
the-
but safety.
that's the CBN, CBG gummies, and then
CBD,
also here is some of my disposable carts. I tell you what, I'm not even a big cart fan at all, and like as you see, those are my carts right there. Collaboration, THC Creations. Like I said, started reviewing products and end up branding my own carts, getting those in stores, and so now with my guy here, with these live terpenes that we got, cannabis derived terpenes, we started adding them into our distillate carts. And like I said, I like live resin carts, things like that. I'm really just a flower guy. I'm not a big dabber, any of that. I like weed, flower. My guy is an expert at that when it comes to this oil stuff. Boom. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know all of that because I don't. I'm still learning. I'm blessed to have an awesome friend here who that's what he does. He's got to educate, been educating people for years, has over 200 licensees across the United States. And so I'm constantly learning from him, but I'm a flower guy. But since we've added the live terpenes to these distillate carts, man, I love them. Like, it tastes like flower. It tastes like you're smoking a live rosin cart.
Right.
And can you explain what live terps are?
Yeah.
So live terpenes are terpenes that they're out in the field. While the plants are in the ground, they are out there extracting these plants. They're not like botanical terpenes. And once again, like I said, I'm not the lab guy. I'm gonna let my guy kind of explain a little bit
Yeah,
more on this topic of what we're doing with these terpenes, and then I'm gonna pass this space candy around while he talk about that, and you guys tell me on the show what you think about it. You know what I mean? I don't like yes people,
I'm
so
all about it.
be honest.
Pass it
honest.
around.
So live terpenes, the process, we can process, we're in the field, right? And the concept is where there's many ways to derive terpenes, but we found a way we can process in the field 50 to 100 acres a day, which there's no one that has that scale, right? And to do that at that scale, obviously you're not efficiently going to move anything out of that field. So we want to keep fresh, then we're going to do that work in the field. And my smaller equipment, our guys, they can actually go down, like he was saying, a corn row, and while the plant's in the ground, we can actually, refine the terpenes out of them.
So how does that work? Do you know?
Which part?
Like going and extracting it.
The actual mechanical process. So it's I don't go too deeply into it, but I can say that one, it's mechanical. Two, we absolutely 50 to 100. This is my farmer who does this is 4 generations of farmers. I've known him for about 8 years. They have fields that they're growing from the Canadian border all the way down to, an example in Arizona would be 10,000 acres of lemon trees. And so he's developed this equipment, and we understand, agriculturalists understand scale, and they, as I heard them say at this meeting, because they're out here now interviewing farms that have 200 plus acres that want to capture their own terpene profiles of their own genetics and be able to put it back into a myriad of products. We have that capability, and because we're not a fixed factory, we're actually in the field. It's by far, one, we're mobile. Two, we come to you. Three, we have by far the freshest product. I mean, just think about that. If I'm making orange juice and I never left the orchard, who's fresher, bro?
Right.
I am.
Yeah.
Now, because we have that, there's some differences in these terpenes than the type you're going to find. Cortez was talking botanical versus cannabis derived. Well, botanical means it's a organically grown, like lavender is an example of a botanical, right? And so the cannabis, from the cannabis plant, some people are steam distilling, other people are using, cold separation, pressing. There's all myriad of ways, right? Live resin, cold traps, CO2 equipment that they're doing. If you have an Apex, Andy, showing his customers you can do a high pressure, a quick wash and pull out liters of terpenes a day. But these are not the same terpenes that we have. Our terpenes, if you take them and mix them back into a distillate, like we have it's a 90% Delta 9 THC, and it has the cannabis derived terpenes. When you smoke it, it has the catalyst in there where it's basically like smoking BHO, where people don't really smoke plain distillate because it doesn't have a lasting effect. Right. It gets you stoned, and it's effective and it's convenient when you're walking down the road with a pen. At the end of the day, people like a live resin cart because of the flavor profile, but it's a little lacking on the potency, right? So there's that kind of an issue in the market. The cannabis derived terpene, you're at a 90% potency. You have that naturally derived terpene in there that allows that medicine, that entourage effect. But I'm telling you, once you dab it, it's not even about that cartridge. You take it out in these syringes, these refills. We call them a 5-in-1 because you can refill your syringe, you can dab it, you can put it in your blunt, you can put it in in the end of your pre-roll, you could put it under your tongue, etc. But this, when you dab it, you will be satisfied. Let's just say that you won't need another dab for 15 minutes, and I know that because I put this in front of the purchasing agents in multiple states. We just did an ECAN in Boston, and a lot of those guys showed up with their distillate. We had our terpenes. It's a challenge, right? Because we're exhibiting, and that's exactly their words. That's where I coined that phrase. The guy looked back at me and goes, "You know what? I don't need a dab right now. I'm pretty damn good." I'm like, okay.
That's nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Is that in a syringe?
This one's, we do a 0.5 gram disposable. We have a 1 gram, we have a 1 gram cartridge, and then we also have a syringe. And the syringe is what we refer to as a 5-in-1. And mainly because, like I said, you can dab it, which is by far the most flavorful. You think a cartridge is good? This dabbed is 3 times the flavor profile. And like Cortez said, it's like, it tastes like flour. Yeah. Right? It has the breadth and depth of a live resin cartridge in terms of its flavor, but it tastes like flour. It doesn't taste like a concentrate. It's not as sharp. and people 60% blow it out. They're like, dude, that tastes like flour, right?
Yeah.
I can't wait to try it.
There's no cut, so you can remove that whole, they use a diluent in the botanicals. They don't talk about it, but people say, well, use terpenes, and that's true. The terpene they buy and alpha bismanol or triethyl citrate, those are products that are sold under names, and they're flavorless, odorless terpenes is what they're told, and they use 3% of that with a 3% flavor to get you a 6% terpene profile on a botanical, and that's how the cartridge works.
Okay.
Right? This we can use 9% and have a flavor like flour, but there's no dilutant whatsoever in the distillate. It's only cannabis and cannabis. Cannabis terpene or the cannabis distillate. There's no adulterants, no foreign, nothing.
Gotcha.
It's the way it's always meant to be. This is the only thing I know like this, right? There's other guys, like I said, you have a CO2, you have this, that, the other, but let's dab it side by side and see who's satisfied.
Yeah. So
Because this is 90%, bro.
that's where I've seen it, on the CO2 side of it. Mm-hmm. And
Oh, yeah. And that is it. I mean, that's a wonderful profile, but at 90%, what's that CO2, right?
right.
Yeah. What's that live resin? What, high 70s if you're lucky?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense. Yeah. Let's try it.
2, 1.
All right. So let's get this thing going. I'm really looking forward to trying this thing.
Okay, I'm just going to hit it twice.
Okay.
Starts blinking. Once it goes solid, it's ready to operate.
Do you need this?
Little carb. Is it clear?
Wow. Yeah. That's
Tried it, still rolling. And then what we can do is as it starts to taper off, you just, let's try it again. All right. So once again, I'm going to hit it twice. And just let it blink. When it goes solid, you're ready. If you wanted to add more heat, you can just hold that down.
Yeah.
It'll actually let you add another 8 seconds to
Oh,
the heat point. Yeah.
okay.
So for diamonds and things, you want to get a little hotter.
All right. You'll probably have to show me again, but
Perfect. That is rolling.
you always take the best dabs, Katie.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, that is so good. I love
Tastes like flour. It's crazy.
Wow.
Hit that button twice. Yeah, you got it.
This one.
Right in the middle. And then it'll blink and wait for it to stop blinking. It goes solid.
Well,
As soon as it goes solid, you're good to go.
there it goes. Now it's blinking.
Wait for it to go solid.
All right.
As
We
soon
can
as it goes
figure this
solid,
out.
you're good to go.
Okay.
That thing is the handiest, I'll tell you.
Yes, I love that.
Here's what's weird.
Tastes so good though.
I think Cortez already took his. Because Weed Man's here.
Weed man is here.
Weed man is here.
Wow, that's strong. Oh my gosh. Wow. Hold on a second.
It's lovely.
Wait just a minute. Now that. Okay. Let me explain this to our audience. I remember the first time I dabbed. Okay. You know what the wobblies are?
I don't.
Where you just.
Oh, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
Ever since the first time I've dabbed, I've always wanted that part of the first time of my dab, and it's hard to find. I just found it right there for a second. That did it. Wow.
All
Live
cannabis.
terps, huh? Cool. I like it.
Yeah, we
Weed
actually, yeah, man. How you guys doing today? This is what happens when I dab live terps.
Okay.
I kind of turn into weed man.
Hey, I like it.
Positive guy. What we do, I pop up when people are down and smoke, and so we're gonna light up some Future X right here.
Future X?
Yes.
Is that what, okay.
This is grown by there's a lot of marijuana here in Oklahoma right now.
Right.
We're kind of flooded. It's crazy. And there's a lot of people out there that can, that say they grow good weed and all that. And I tell people there's levels to this shit, right?
Yeah.
And I'm hooked up with, I'm hooked up with a new grower. I actually got 2 growers that, a lot of people's going to hear about, fallen trees, endo trees at PAK Family Farms and Crush Gardens. And this Future X right here that we're going to smoke, that Weed Man's going to smoke with you guys, is
Wow, look at
It is
that.
gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a good.
I don't know if y'all
It's a good
can see
looking
that,
nug there.
but this is a craft connoisseur designer marijuana, and I'm confident to say that this dude, I'll put him with anybody, whoever's the best out there, he's rocking with them, and we're growing great product that people can afford. From all the stuff that's in designer bags, I don't care what it is, bring it to Happy Buds, and I promise you, I got it. And you can afford it. You can come to Happy Buds and smoke like a celebrity. Okay,
Yeah,
so-
like green, like Green Man.
yeah, Green Man, Weed Man.
Weed
You
Man,
smoke
Weed
like
Man.
Weed
Oh man, I smoked too much.
And-
so
and-
with
I'm
the
gonna
live
tell you, bro,
turps.
it
It's
is.
the
It's
terps.
and
It's
we-
the live
Blame it on the turps.
Blame it. It's the live Terps. Got Terps. Got
Somebody should
live
make a
Terps.
T-shirt. Blame
Yeah,
it on the turps.
blame it on the Terps, man.
Blame it on the turds. I love
Damn
But,
it! I just gave it away. Like no one's thought of that.
But while we're talking about Terps,
Yeah.
something else that we have here that we're going to pass around the room. We got a few bottles. This is some Happy Bud Taste the Tingle Terp water that, we just sit around and just come up with ideas. And like I say, I've always called this guy the guru. I tell people he's a guru, you know what I mean? Like, literally, you're like a big brother. I call him Uncle Willie, man, because, business partners, if you can't, go at it like a big brother with your business partner, and then the next day wake up, and still be smiling and move forward, you're not really good partners. You know what I'm saying?
There you go, man. I
and-
like that.
And that's what me and him do. It's a good friendship. It's a brother friendship. And so,
But you guys gotta get in a fight every once in a while.
oh, you got to.
I mean, you gotta.
You got to.
it. You're like brothers,
It's
bro.
yeah, man. It's not all
Like-
rainbows over
like
there. I know that.
Ever. And so, but we create great things together, and we both know that separated, we're going to be successful, but together it's powerful.
Yeah.
With what we do. And so he came up with this water, and it's great, man. And like I say, his motto.
Let's try it.
His motto that I've loved since meeting this guy, and I've always gave away stuff, okay? But we'll make $5,000 worth of stuff and spend $5,000 worth of stuff, and he says we're gonna give it away, and
Dude, tastes like weed.
tastes like weed, right? Tastes
Yeah,
like weed,
man.
Just like the flower.
and it's no THC in there.
Okay, so it won't get you hot. What is it? What would people buy it for?
So,
Please.
so with that being said, once again, I'm not a doctor.
You can recommend though.
Or weed man?
I'm not a doctor, and like like I tell people that come to my store that buys our CBD, that buys our Delta 8, because you got a lot of people talking bad about Delta 8, whatever. But I feel like if you're getting clean products, you're getting tested products that people can see, and that it's past test, you're fine. You're fine. And just like everything else that we give away from our store, people come in from my Delta 8, says how it helps their shakes. I got people literally come in and buy a Delta 8 where, he gets it made at. I got literally people come from Kansas all over to buy this and say they're giving it to their kids, and their kids off of ADHD medicine. A lot of things with that, right? Well, with this terpene water, we made it, and we were just giving it away. We're not selling it. We're just giving it away, right? And we just started giving it to people, and man, people come back in and be like, yo, I need that, getting pissed because we ain't selling it to them yet, and says it helps my back. I have bad nerve problems, and like it helps me with that. Like I went to my cousin's house, and her wrist and this, and I gave it to her, and they want more. People come in and say it helped their heads, and so that's what people saying. Me personally, drink it. You feel a little tingle. You feel different. You know what I mean? You just chill. But once again, I drink it. Do I drink it every day? No, I smoke weed and flower every day.
Yeah, because that's what Weed Man does.
That's my jam. Weed. But a lot of people, love it. And like I said, it says that the one guy came in and was like, he drank it, and he was just like, man, it make me just like relax. And like I said, people came in and said it helps his back pain.
So it's kind of like drinking CBD water, almost.
Yeah, I would say it's a the terpenes is what everyone's is now into. The terpenes. Some people
Could
want
it be an enhancer. of
You know what we've discovered, and that's one of the reasons like Cortez says we hand it out. And what he means by that is, one, if you're truly ill, you're sick, we know what this is. That's where we started. We don't want sick people's money. Like you're a terminal bill, we all are, but some of us are in the lead. Some of us are just, you know what it looks like when you see it. So, then we don't take their money, first of all. Secondly, if I give it out to you for whatever your ailment is, and then you come back to me because it was effective for you, and I'll be honest with you, many of my bases have their own foundation, right? Why would I use a weak base of anything? Everything I make, I hope, will work without my CBD, without my THC, without my CBN, or any of it.
Right.
That would be the goal. And then if we can compound it with a molecule that is also effective in a manner that's helpful, then we're going in the right direction.
Win-win.
We're going in the right direction, And so that's where that first part. So things like the water, he's right. We handed out 300 to 500 little 2 ounce, 3 ounce, 4 ounce glasses. Come in, got 12 different strains. Just let them pour it right out of the cooler. Allows us to talk about it. That was the idea, right? Is you let's talk about liquor. You say Galliano. I don't know anything about it. Well, let's take soda water, take 4 ounces. Let's put a drop of Galliano in there. It allows the herbal liqueur to suspend, and you can get the layers of flavor by drinking it that way. And then you're like, oh my goodness, this is so complex.
Okay.
Correct. It's overwhelming, and it's concentrated form. When suspended, now it's something that we can start to, I guess I don't use the wrong word, but extrapolate. We can understand it. We're like, wow, I got berries, I got sour, it's sweet, it's hot. Some people call it the 7-layer dip when I was a kid in the culinary arts, right? It's all white, but you can taste the 7 layers. That's a 7-layer dip.
Okay.
Right, some heady culinary shit, but anyway.
Right.
Back to the terpenes, the water.
Makes sense, totally.
Perfectly, exactly.
Yeah.
And that was the test. Can you tell me what those layers are? And I'm just like, leave me alone. Let me peel my vegetables. Go away. Stop terrorizing me. But the water allows us to put the terpene, 1 drop of terpenes in that 16-ounce water bottle, and you could taste the flavor, right? That was the whole idea, taste the flavor. So then we're giving out people about 40%. They're rubbing the corner of their arms. Why? I don't know. They go about 5-6 minutes in, because I just pour it and go taste it. We're talking about what we can do, how we do. Now they're saying, am I supposed to be getting this effect? I got it on film, right? We audio and video.
Really?
For the insurance. Yeah, I'm shooting on. And these people are like about 40%, 6 minutes into it. They're also going, plus I have this, and I'm like, can you describe it? And they're like, it's like taking raw oxygen. I just feel upward, I just feel energized in a way. So now we are, once again, we were just designed to talk about the flavor, what it was. It was a product, it's an ombudsman. Like, this is my guy. He's going to carry this over to you, and he's going to explain it to you. This is why this makes sense. Kind of like, once again, liquor turned into something whole other thing, which it often does.
If you could,
which it often does. It turned into people saying, I'm getting a tingly feeling. That's why we have taste the tingle on the last pallet. We had them put taste the tingle on the bottle. Then secondarily, we're having people say it gives them an effect. But on the medicinal side, which is really why I like to hand it out, and I'm not out there. Well, I kind of am. I'll say, do you know anybody who suffers from sleep, trouble?
Yeah.
Who doesn't? Are you kidding me? If you don't, you're not asking.
Right.
Like everybody's got that person.
Yes.
Boom. I'm like, here, take this to your people. Right? And I show them, I'm like, it's a syringe. I pull one out. It's a 1 ml. We got points in it. We're going to take this much, the 0.1 the first night. If it doesn't work, 0.2. End of day, explain it, right? Tell them, don't fight through it. And they go, what does that mean? I go, well, Cortez, love him. He took it twice. It worked very well. And he's like, what? I wonder if I could beat the CBN. I'm like, what? He's like, I'm going to fight it tonight. I'm going to take a whole thing. And I'm going to beat it. I'm not going to let it take me down. So it has asked, if you do that and you want to fight it, at some point it will make you insomnia, because if you stick past it and you take the whole thing and you do muscle through the sleep effect, you will. It might have the opposite effect.
Really?
Cortez discovered this. So because he took it 3 times, and the 3rd time he was going to beat the CBN. I'm not even making this is how Weed Man comes. This is all of this is literally
how Weed Man is.
Bro, this is serendipity. Every day, every moment. It is.
So, all right. So it's almost like, okay. So to compare it, it's almost like taking sleeping pills to get the effect
without
going to sleep.
Right. Yeah. Most tea people take an edible for tea. A lot of Delta 8 people take it because it gives them a hangover. The tea gives them a hangover. This is something you can't. Delta 8 too much will make you, in a sense, drunk without a better descriptor.
This has no side effects. We haven't had a single person that's given us, out of hundreds of people we've given it away, they show back up to buy it. Now, if they're not, this isn't a recreational. You can't get high from this.
Right.
So I legitimately do. If they're coming in like that, I sell it to them for half price. Like I said, we don't, you need it. We're not there. We're not fishing. We're trying to help you.
Yeah.
And then even then, like, they take it that way because they trust us at that point. But if I started out that way, half off, right? Like, is that the half off then?
Yes.
Right? It's just,
Yeah.
so you have to create, yes. And so giving it to someone, they have no reason to come back. I'm not going to give it to you again. Did it help you? Great. Do you want it? Wonderful. Now, at that point, I know we have somebody who needs it. Then I can make my decision. It's CBN. It's not, the 99.9% THC diamonds and sauce. The kids rolling in going, come on, man, can I have that for free? That's a different customer. I know they, too, may suffer from pain or may, too, use it medicinally.
Right, but it's not.
It's a different thread.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this isn't Halloween and you're 14.
Yeah.
You can't come and trick or treat anymore. All right.
But back to the terpene water, we had two really standout cases. One was a lady who, one guy came in, he's the one who kind of twisted our arm because he wasn't leaving. It's funny, I was thinking, he knows Cortez, and he doesn't know Cortez, but he's standing right there. Everybody knows who he is. And this guy's getting upset because we won't sell him the water. I'm like, well, I don't have everything, because at that point we didn't have someone doing it for us, and we hadn't had our health department approval, so we couldn't. I could let you try it because of where I was getting made, but I just didn't feel comfortable like taking $1 bill for it. Right? I was making it in the kitchen, I was allowed to make it in, but at our facility, you know what I mean. And when it's just I don't want to confuse anybody.
Right.
So at the end of the day, we're sitting there giving out samples, and he really did. He said he takes prednisone. He said he gets nasty side effects. And he said that this was something that allowed him to not have to take it. And then we had another lady who comes in who has definitely, she shakes, she has tremors. Same thing, tried the water and it was notable. She doesn't, I loaded her up, right? Here's some CBD or some Gelate or some CBN, here's some water. We haven't seen her, she was just passing through, but the idea is maybe this stuff, wherever she's going, like if Cortez says she can find a legitimate source, it can start to be that medicine, because leave that Ambien behind. Yeah, man.
Wow, that's great that you stumbled onto that weed, man. I'll take some of that.
So this is Future X by PAK Family Farms.
Yeah.
And this is when I talk about like with me, like, cause I'm a connoisseur. Like you gonna see, you can see it's good white ash, and it just smoke. It's there. Like
hell yeah, man.
Hands down.
Weed man knows his stuff.
I love weed.
I believe it.
I love weed, and so these are some of the terpenes, and I also have some here to show people, because when I talk to a lot of people about this. Sometimes people are like they're like, yeah, I'm pulling terps out in the lab, because I talk to people and I'll be like, yo, I got some live terpenes, man. And people are like, yo, I'm pulling terps already in my lab. I was like, no, they're kind of different, than what you're pulling in your lab. And so this is some of them right here. It comes in that. And then we also have some in little bottles, as you see. It's like water. Look like essential oils.
Okay.
And there's no cuts in this,
Full analytics
so
on everything.
This is 355 milliliters.
It's 12 ounces. It was 12 ounces.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So wow, this is
terpenes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
90% purity. We have all the analytics. So we have it's heavy metal, pesticide. It's tested for residual solvents, because not that we use any, but there are ways that you can naturally derive that'll have that happen. Anyone who's there's people out there have that horror story. So we show them, we have no pesticide, heavy metal, microtoxins. We have no heavy metal, solvent. We test for the purity of the terpene as well, and then no non-detectable THC. So all of our terpenes, you can see that there's no THC in it. So we can mail it to you. So we have 90% purity on the terpene profiles in the testing.
right. So, okay, here's my question. It's not like, and I want to point this out. It's kind of like if you were to. Like if I were to grab this and run away with it, you still got to figure out how to use it. It's fuel.
For sure.
And so it's like saying, hey, you know, somebody grabs a big can of gasoline and runs away with it, so they've got money. Well, that's not the case. You have to have the expertise in all of that. And so, how long have you been doing this?
Wow. Well, I was an Oregon boy, so I grew up growing weed and having my dad look for my crop when I was, 11, 12, doing all that silly shit. It's what we do, right? So it's the culture of Oregon. We love it. My dad looked for my plants. I looked, to hide them. And so, then I went to college and I started a life. My dad got sick in 2002, 2003 with renal cell carcinoma. Renal cell carcinoma is kidney cancer. And so that's where that kind of started. He got sick one day and I went and I rolled him a joint and I hit it and I started to pass it to him, and I realized in that moment, like a thunderbolt, even though I'd been a lifelong user, that I had no idea what was in this, like paraquat, who knows?
Yeah.
And my dad was in such a fragile state, I realized, and although that care or concern never came for myself in that moment, it showed my eyes were open to it through my father. And that's when I realized that I had to take an interest.
Okay.
And then we started growing and looking for CBD, have all those analytics on showing all that on a third, like Analytical 360 has archives, and we could show between 2011 through 2016 where we had done all this research in our CBD strands and just residual solvents, and none of those tests were ever required. So for Dad, it was, how do we help you, right? Mm-hmm. First it started with a clean source, and then it was what do we need, right? Because my dad wasn't he didn't drink, didn't consume any inebriants, right? Like he might have half a beer twice a year.
Yeah.
Like only finish half the beer and come back to that thing.
Right.
6 months later.
Yeah, it's like weird. That's weird.
So he didn't like to be inebriated. So I had to figure out a way to help him without him being drunk.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That was the start. And then my mom didn't want him, she was a bit of a teetotaler. And so that became the CBD path. And then, we developed it into all sorts of, we learned about the concentrates, started, I think, with Dad, it was very fun, very rudimentary, right, in those days, because he passed by 2008. We didn't get analytical testing in the state of Washington until 2011. Yeah. You couldn't even test your pot until 2011, so he was gone 3 years by then. Mm-hmm. But he lived in a place called Senior Estates in Woodburn, Oregon, and there's 5,000 houses that are all seniors, just 65 and older, to live there. And so with his path, in the end, he had 5 forms of cancer. When it metastasized, he had all these people that had seen everything from, we had probably at one point had 200 to 300 literally rolling seizure patients at that time, or just people who, we had cards in Oregon, so it's all, legal, right? If you had your card, you could participate. But we just, we had CBD, and it didn't really have any value. It just was medicine for the sick.
Yeah.
Seizure patients, like 2 out of 3 are helped by THC, but 1 out of those 3 on average of maybe the 400 or 500 I've helped in a decade, they are actually getting worse seizures. So that's where the CBD becomes that life thread for them, because they're not able to be helped with a traditional THC molecule. Okay. So we learned some isms like that, so, but that's kind of how it started for me, my dad, and just trying to get him what he needed and something that we could trust. Because especially at that time, you had no idea who was putting what on it. No one really honestly cared.
Yeah.
In those days, you couldn't tell me that you knew you had clean medicine unless you grew it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, you knew if it was kind or not.
And it felt safer to grow it ourselves in Washington State with a medical card than it did to go down to where my roots were in Oregon and go get good clean medicine from Eugene, from Veneta, from Bend, and bring it up to Washington.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So where my dad was in Oregon, we got him Oregon medicine. When he was in Washington, we had Washington medicine. And then from there it was, who's going to grow CBD for Dad, right?
Yeah. How long have you been in Oklahoma?
I've been coming out here heavily with Cortez for 3 years.
3 years.
And okay. I've recently changed our residency, so I've been here. This is my 8th month as a resident of Oklahoma.
Okay. How you like it?
I love it here.
Yeah?
Oh, man.
Where do you live now?
I live with Cortez.
Oh, okay. So you guys, all right.
We run a real tight crew.
Bro. Yeah, man. Real tight crew. You guys, all right. We won't get into all the fights you guys get into at home.
Oh no,
But-
it's all development, bro. Like it's all
just
development. We have to bounce back and forth and figure our next direction. Like
taking-
today, I was on like with Tara, right? Like we're so excited to get started, but we have the creative part, and then we have to help each other.
Yeah.
So it's more like that, and then we have to make decisions, right? Like
Sure.
we wanted to do Chronopalooza, that was the big plan, and then with Tara, with everything lining up, and Dylan, his partner's got a fight on Thursday, right? The officers versus the firemen. There'll be 11 different fights. It's like
Yeah.
40,000 people will be there in Oklahoma City, I assume.
It's in Tulsa.
It's in Tulsa. Thank you so
this
much.
week.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Then that's where we have to make decisions, and so that's where we think our hardest part is, because letting go, we have to both decide when.
Yeah, man.
That's the hard part for us. It's not any disagreement. It's how do we manage our time?
I'm picturing somebody running out of the bathroom with an empty toilet paper roll, going, "Hey, I told you to grab some toilet paper." That kind of stuff. Anyway, let's take a break, man. I want to come back. I want to take a break. I want to talk about some fights.
I love it.
I want to talk about some fighting.
We can do it, man.
All right.
Love it.
Oh, this is the same thing that was in that. Okay.
But you can see how,
Okay.
because most people used to seeing terpenes just like in the sauce, right? That's what you would think of, right? When you think of terpenes, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, or yeah,
What do
in
you
the
think of
sauce.
terpenes?
In the sauce. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you're right. Yeah.
Ain't that what you like when you think of terpenes? What do you think?
Well, I have to think of it in a little bit of a different way. I think of like charts and
Yeah.
like infographics, and I
guess
when
what
I
do you
first
mean?
hear
Like,
terpenes, I just think of like all the different lines.
yeah.
Far as a form, I guess. Have you ever
Form. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. As far as a form of terpenes, yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
like a diamond.
Look at
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what you would think of, right?
Right.
Oh wow. Oh man.
And look at how clear they are. They're
And
just,
look how
just
clear
like
that
water.
is. That's it, and so it was something new for me too. But it's crazy.
That's
So,
amazing.
like, and so people can put these in gummies.
It looks like water.
It's water, yeah.
What if I drop it? No, I'm just kidding.
That's $9,000. No shit.
Here, take it.
my God,
take
what?
this thing. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Hey, if I drop that, I know exactly what would happen. This guy would kick my ass because
Never,
he is.
never.
I gotta get into this, man. All right, freestyle champ. Freestyle champ. Freestyle champ of Oklahoma.
No, I'm the
Oh my gosh.
185 FCF freestyle cage fighting champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still got that belt, man.
Let's talk about that, man. Come on.
It's an old belt. That ain't even.
Yeah, okay. Well, then let's talk about your new belts, the ones that you do want to talk about. Maybe you talk about Ultimate Fighter stuff or any of your anything.
Man, just fighting in general. It's like I was just saying earlier, man. My whole life it's been a movie, man.
Yeah.
And that's what I do every day. For those that don't know me, man, I'm Cortez Coleman from Hugo, Oklahoma. Grew up single mother, 5 brothers and sisters, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
just grew up rough, and I don't supposed to be where I'm at right now. And so, every day, I get on Facebook every day. I go live. I motivate. And for those that don't know me, like I said, I don't get on Facebook to look at me, to sound cockiness. I get on there because, man, I give people hope where I come from, because, like, I don't supposed to be where I'm at.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that, if they watch this, they'll vouch to this, they'll vouch and be like, no, we never thought, from teachers to even my own family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even to me, after just growing up and hearing it so much, and then being, seeing it and seeing, 90% of your family going there,
Yeah.
Dead in prison, you too kind of, believe it and just grow up really just like not really having a care of what really happens. And I'm trying to survive.
Yeah.
Trying to survive, but treating people good, right?
Yes.
And so that's what I do, man. And so with fighting, man, it was a plan. Like I tell people, I'm not a Bible thumper, nothing like that, man. But I believe in God. I I was raised up on the book. You know what I mean? I'm from Oklahoma. Most of us grew up, parents making them go to church, and somebody in your family making you go to church. And, I'm thankful that my flora took me because it paid off as I continue to grow up, man.
Yeah.
Even through all the things I was doing, man, hustling, which I was very heavy in the industry before 788.
Right.
And so from coming from the streets my whole life from the 8th grade into only thing I've known until I was 28 years old by watching Chuck Liddell fight at Buffalo Wild Wings is what got me into the sport. At 28 years old, is when I started.
So that was your inspiration?
Yeah, I was in Buffalo Wild Wings with my best friend, John White.
Okay. He's
a friend who, his parents kind of took me under my wing, took me under their wing when I was a kid, helped me out as well. Like I said, my mom did the best she could. Love my mama for it, but also I had great people like Ann and Mike White, and so me and my brother John was at Buffalo Wild Wings, and I believe it was around early 2007 maybe, and just got back from making a lot of shit ton of money, and so we went to Buffalo Wild Wings, eat, watch the UFC fights. I wasn't into UFC, I didn't grow up watching boxing, Bruce Lee, none of that. I can't say that, like my uncles watched boxing, I seen it, I knew who boxers was.
You knew who Mike Tyson was.
Yeah, but I never was into that. Yeah. I liked football, cowboys, drug dealing, and hustling.
Right.
That's what I was into growing up because that's what I saw. But anyway, we were at Buffalo Wild Wings, man, and everybody was rooting, and Chuck Liddell was fighting. That's what I remember, and he was knocking people out, and his dude fights with his hands like this, right? Yeah. And I looked at my brother John, and I was like, bro, you tell me this dude got famous, and people in here watching him by fighting? I was like, I can do this.
You can kick some people's ass,
right? And so this guy tapped me on my back and was like, yo, I guess he thought I was talking shit because I was just like, man, I can do this. He got this, like, what I mean? I was like, you know how like a lot of fans, a lot of fans do. You got
backseat quarterback.
Yeah, you got people always say, man, golly, man, I would have did this, man. I would have did this. And so maybe this guy thought that I was that fan,
Yeah.
And so I was just like, man, I could do that, bro. And so, he was like, hey, I got some brothers, 2 guys that's pretty tough, man. At my gym, you should come and check it out, right? And it was a white guy that invited me there. And so that next Monday, boom, I drive Norman, Oklahoma. Titan Mixed Martial Arts there in Norman, Oklahoma. You hear me? And I pulls up, jumped out. Back then, man, I was, like I said, man, I was out there. So I jump out, gold chain on, summertime, wife beater. I'm tattooed up. I jumped out, goes in the gym. I'm like, yo, I come here to sign up. I want to fight. Like, because this is what I watched. Was fighting. That's what I was coming to do. And so, literally, I remember, like, I can tell you some of the fighters' name, but a few fighters walked up. A lot of people laughed at me, looked, and the owner was there. Scott, was like, here's the price. You got a credit card, this and that. And I was like, credit card? I just got a banking account 6 years ago, and I was just like, no, I got cash. Paid, pop. And so he was like, here's your gi, I got some shin guards, I got everything, hey, this man had it, you bought everything there. This man had it together. He was a one-stop shop, and take in mind everything through life. It's tools. Coming from where I come from, either you're gonna learn off of other people's success blueprint, or you just not, you're gonna sink,
Mm-hmm.
And so everything is learning for me. And so I'm like, okay, I did that. So I had to stay in the front. It wasn't just fighting. I'm not just going there to fight. So I had to start doing this stuff called jiu-jitsu, right? And so I started getting choked out by 14 and 13-year-old kids.
And how old were you again?
Man, like literally 27. I was 27 when I started.
Yeah.
27.
Okay.
Getting tapped out by 13, 14-year-old kids that's in Norman. Like, I'm knowing these kids are going to school, feeling good, maybe getting bullied before by some tough white Mexican kid, white kid, black kids before, right?
Yeah.
And, I come in there tattooed up, off the streets, and they're choking me out. I promise you.
That's great,
I know, that I played a part of helping these kids overcome some things. Because they went back to school.
That's self-esteem right there.
Oh, they went back. They went back to school. Like, man, I guarantee they went back to school. Like, I ain't worried about you guys.
Oh, hell yeah. And you weren't faking it.
No, I know. I was getting choked out. Like, you can Google this. Like, MMA Junkie did a story about it, because I remember all this, because my life's been a movie. And so I was getting choked out. And I remember telling the parents, like, one day I'm going to choke your kids. I'm going to get them. And I kept training. And as months went by, I started choking the kids. I started beating up the kids. Okay? No, seriously. I'm being serious.
Great. No,
okay, at the months going by, I started beating up the kids. I wasn't physically punching them, but I was choking. I was beating them, man.
Yeah, man, good for you.
I got beat for months.
Just damn kids.
Like, I was beat. No, I'm not kidding you. And I'm telling you, like, I was like loving it.
It's hilarious
because they were tough kids, man. And there's tough kids today that will kick grown-ups' ass. So now that I look back, I was proud of myself. Right?
Yeah, you should be.
And so, with that being said, I got better, and I got to move in the back. And once I met in the back, I got to train with some of the older fighters and all of that, right? And start training with the bigger guys now, okay? These guys are kind of kicking my ass, choking me out all the time, getting beat out. I realize I'm not that tough. I've been in shootouts. I've done a lot of shit in the streets, man. Hugo, Oklahoma is a rough place.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Oh, it's a rough place.
I've heard that.
And I grew up in it. Since the 8th grade, I've been out there, okay? Mm-hmm. And so I thought that I was like a gangster. Tough. No, I wasn't. Okay? And so, as I continue to stay in this place, because, I'm liking it. I'm realizing that, okay, this... I'm liking it. I'm continuing to do what I do with my other business, and I get to meeting people. And as I continue to go there, I'm noticing these two brothers who this white guy introduced me to the gym to tell me that he got two brothers there that's tough when he thought that I was talking shit and stuff. These was the two guys that he invited me to for them to kick my ass.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So these was the guys, right?
Yeah.
Cool. They did kick my ass for a while.
Right.
And so one day I invited them to my house though. Because I noticed they were teaching a lot, man. I was like, what do you guys, do you guys getting paid and this and that? So they came over one day and they told me, they were like, yo, no, he's our manager, this and that, and we train here and we don't really get paid. And I was like, what? I was like, you're kind of getting fucked, blah, blah, blah. But long story short, these kids end up losing their car and a lot of shit. And they wasn't getting treated for years, right? And so what next? Me, I've been a businessman, right? And so I was just like, yo, I can manage you guys. I was like, I can be your manager. They were twins, Mike and Ken Jackson, twins who now have a mixed martial arts gym in Norman, Oklahoma. If you're ever in Norman, Oklahoma, stop by there. Empire Jiu-Jitsu for women, kids, everybody.
Empire?
Yeah, Empire, Norman, Oklahoma. If you're in Moore, check out my gym, my coach's gym, Sandro. All right? So back to this. So I got to talking to these kids, and, long story short, they end up leaving, and I started managing them. So they've been with this guy for years. Okay? Years. Mm-hmm. All right? I believe they were just now got their purple belts, and so now it's up to me, who know nothing about MMA or anything, okay? But I'm creative, all right? And so I started managing them. So I told them, I was like, you guys can move in with me. We're going to have to change your lifestyle a little bit, introduce you to something different. They moved in with me, and, you know, I had to get them new boxing coaches because they really wasn't that great at striking. So I got them good new boxing coaches. We found the new jiu-jitsu guy, and they just, you know, started living with me.
That's awesome.
And so they started training. I would drive them to training every day and all that, buying their food, paying the bills. And their job was just, you know, sit at my house, make sure my shit don't get broke into, right?
Right.
And so they're training. I'm taking them to training. And then, you know, I was like, man, I got to start cooking for them. Fighters got to look good. So I started cooking. And I, at the time, used to be fat, like 295, the heaviest, right? And so I started cooking, you know, food, and every day this tilapia shit, which now is horrible. Don't eat this shit, okay? As I learned, but back then, you know, we're cooking stuff. You know, we used to eat Uncle Ben's rice, the 2-minute rice, all that. I'm learning though, right? Back in the day, they're losing weight, and I'm losing weight with them, learning this ninja stuff. You know, just managing them, getting them coaches. And, you know, I'm the manager. So back in the day, I had a friend, Tony Franchise, who, you know, do what you guys do, this production stuff. And so I got him, and I was like, yo, Tony, I got these 2 fighters. We need to do like a day in the Jackson's life. And so I need you to come and record them when they wake up, and we're going to go train. And so I was doing all that back in the day, right? I was already doing marketing, advertising on them, so I ended up getting them fights in Vegas. I met Uriah Faber and all that, and this stuff just kept blowing up. And after about a year or so passes, and I was still learning this stuff in my house, they teaching me some of this stuff just because, you know, I would go to Rock Bar and all that back in the day, if you're familiar with Rock Bar and, you know, all those places. And I was learning this ninja stuff in case I had the ninja people, and I used to like ninja people easy, right? And so it was like cool. And so my uncle, Larry Coleman, after about a year or so, I've probably spent like $100 or grand or so on these guys. And my uncle was like, listen, Cortez, you're learning this. You were tough in football. He was like, man, you need to get out the streets, man. You should try to fight. And I was like, no, man, I don't want to do this. I like.
You got your ass kicked by too many 13 and 14-year-olds.
I was like, I ain't about getting punched in the face, none of that. Yeah. You know, long story short, man, I end up talking to promoter, into paying me, and I took a fight in 2008. I named myself Hollywood Cole, because right then it was business, man. Yeah. You know, because when I started, I didn't know nothing about it. I went there in Arkansas, and the guy said, are you an amateur or pro? All right, and I said, what's the difference? He says, amateurs don't get paid, pros do. And I said, I'm a pro. So I went straight professional, right?
Yeah.
Getting paid that day. I went out there, you know, and I won in 16 seconds.
No kidding.
Yeah, and I named myself Hollywood Cole. That was my name. Right?
And so, this was UFC?
No, this was just a small show in Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
got you.
We're going to get into how
it
started.
Go ahead.
You know?
Yeah,
28 years old.
Yeah.
Took my first fight.
Okay.
I won in 16 seconds.
16 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
I made good money too, man. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, Hollywood Cole. I was like, man, that was easy.
It wasn't a 13-year-old, right?
No, okay. It wasn't. He was a guy who's already been training. He was a guy already been training and all of that.
Just making sure, Rick.
No, it wasn't 13-year-old. Right. He was a guy already training. I guillotined him, okay?
Okay.
And boom, I was like, man, this was fast money. I don't got to worry about getting robbed. I don't got to worry about them, them boys coming to get me. I might can do this, right? So, whatever. We kept doing what we've always done, what we've known. And about 2 months later, I get a call from another promotion, and they're like, yo, Cortez, you want to fight this guy? He's out of Travis Luter's gym in Dallas. I don't know if you know who Travis Luter is, UFC guy, tough jiu-jitsu guy. And we got a guy named Jeff Owens. I remember all this because, like I said, my life's been a movie. You guys are going to watch the movie one day. And so
I can't wait.
I was just like, it was like his name Jeff Owens. He just won Pan Ams or whatever. And I was like, yeah. Like it's a fight. Yeah. Like I said, life's been hard for me. And so fighting another man in the cage is nothing. And so I was like, yeah, why not? You know, because they were like, there's going to be a lot of big gyms there. You know, I think like American Top Team, Hit Squad was there, which is Matt Hughes. Anyone who's watching this that knows anything about MMA know who Matt Hughes is, know who Robbie Lawler is, know who Mark Fiore is, you know, Brian Foster. And so they're like, those kind of guys is going to be there, right? And so they're like, do you want to fight this guy? I was like, yeah, why not, right? So, you know, like I said, I wasn't really training back then, bro. Like, I was still hustling, you know, like going out drinking, you know, hanging out, doing what I do. And that weekend, me and my kid's mother, Taylor Wells, shout out to Smoking Joe's Barbecue, best barbecue in Davis. We went there that night, the day before Friday, hung out in Arkansas. Like, I went out and had drinks and everything that Friday. Went and fought the next day, right?
Right.
End up getting beat. I had my homies in my corner back then. I didn't have no coaches, nothing. You know, my homies, man. We didn't know if we were gonna do this, and I went out there and I was just beating this dude up just with heart, will, never to give up.
Right.
And man, I got tired, and I think the dude just like barely choked me, and I tapped out. And after that fight, Mark Fiore, Brian Foster, and Mark Fiore asked me what I did, and I told him, you know, hustle. And his exact words, shout out to Mark Fiore, love you, my man, love you, my man. He said, listen, man, come to my gym, man. We up at the Hit Squad. We got Matt Hughes, Robbie Lawler, a lot of guys, and I think I can help you be a world champion, kid. You got it, right? Yeah. And long story short, man, I moved to Illinois. Told all my partners, man, I was like, man, I think I can go do this, man. Because I said once before, and not racist at all, man, but I said before, I was like, man, I found the right white man, see me in this shit, man. Right white man who got some connections, see me in this shit, man. I can make a name for myself, man. I feel it. You feel me? This is business. I'm a brand, and that did happen. And Mark, Mark invited me to the Hit Squad, and I went to the Hit Squad, man. Told my partners I'm out. Left the game alone, man, and moved to Illinois. Mm-hmm. And I lived in a dorm room with anywhere from 30 to 50 fighters on a dorm room. And I get off the plane, go in, and first person I trained with is Robbie Lawler.
Yeah.
And I went in there, and no one ever dropped me. Never been dropped in practice. Never been dropped in no fight.
What's your record?
My record is 13-7.
13-7.
13-7. Never been stopped. Never been knocked out. And literally, if we go back and look at half of my fights, it was probably got screwed over decisions of four of them. Four of them guaranteed.
Yeah.
It was all guys playing. Like I said, from the Hit Squad, from getting there to those guys taking me to my first fight, which was in front of Chuck Liddell in Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's crazy. Man.
My first fight ever.
Yeah,
was back in front of Chuck Liddell.
It's funny how that was your first time, and you just kind of got into it and everything. But anyway, yeah, your life is like a movie. Man.
It's like a movie, and so with that being said, that whole story of Matt Hughes, coming from Hugo, Oklahoma, to my first fight, and then second fight getting picked up by Matt Hughes, world champion, and living with him and Robbie Lawler and tons of fighters. And my first fight, they're coming back to Oklahoma, and I beat up a guy in front of Chuck Liddell.
Right, yeah.
Like, he was the guest fight. You do remember when I said in the beginning that I was in Buffalo Wild Wings, right?
Right.
And so that's why, when I speak about believing in the universe and when I say things align, I realized a long time ago how powerful of speaking things into existence is.
Yeah.
Because of when that lined up in my first fight in front of Chuck Liddell, and then I went on to fight guys like Douglas Lima, who was the Bellator 170 champ, and giving these people hell, with never having an amateur career and going on to being on the Ultimate Fighter reality show, fighting on Strike Force, fighting Rafael Lovato Jr. for the world title, and now owning a mixed martial arts gym here in Ada, Oklahoma, black belt under Carlos and Grayson, and so the fight game it's been amazing.
Yeah.
It's been a life changing. Mixed martial arts changed my life, and just like my shirt, cannabis saves lives. It changed my life, and so with all of this in tune with Happy Bud and my brand, it's just something unique,
Yeah, it is,
and so
very.
With fighting, man, it's been a movie, and
Yeah.
so that's
It's
big.
funny. So I'll tell you something funny. Last night, whenever you texted me, we're kind of whatever. Katie and I were at Buffalo Wild Wings eating. So anyway, just fun facts.
That's awesome, man.
Anyway, how can people follow you guys? Let's talk. What's your Instagram?
So I had Crazy Cowboy MMA, but just like a lot of people in the cannabis industry, if you're active, if you're on there and you're posting, you're probably lost several Instagram pages.
Yeah,
I have.
Yeah.
And so right now I have Real Crazy Cowboy, a new page, Instagram.
Crazy Cowboy.
Yeah, Real Crazy Cowboy. And then we also have Happy Bud _dispensary 1 right now that you can go check out. And then also my friend has one as well, Schools and Tools, that you can find on there. And then also we have Happy Bud Ada Facebook, and then Cortez Coleman. Like I said, I've been blessed to make a name for myself. You can go check out my Wikipedia. Easy to find there. And then of course we're going to be working with an awesome group that does marketing here in Oklahoma. I believe it's Herbage Marketing, a pretty awesome group. It's going to be making our shit rock. And so, they'll have more information for you guys soon too.
Yeah. And then also you're working with some specific brands for your product. That you want to give a shout out to? Yeah,
big shout out to Schools and Tools, who's responsible for helping put a lot of products out. Big shout out to the farmer, know who they are with the terpenes, TKO, in Canada, a lot of those great guys who's been great, supporting us. Definitely got to give a big shout out to Crush Gardens, and great mother and daughter duo. For the people who haven't checked those out, for all the dispensaries, they're all women operation, and they grow great cannabis. Big shout out to them, Regina and Chelsea. Then also over there at PAK Family Farms, man, my boy Jeff with Fallen Leaves. You can follow him on Instagram, Fallen Leaf Endo Trees. The dude's one of the best. Like, he's one of the best. I'm not. There's a lot of more growers in here in Oklahoma. That's great. There's levels to it. But if we was have to put, go get 5 growers, or if there's only 3 growers that you can pick, I will put this guy. Will be one of those 3. If there's just 5 you can pick, I'll put this guy Jeff, that you can go follow on Instagram under, like I said, Fallen Leaf Endo Trees. The guy's a craft. He's a genius at what he does. And then, like I said, my partner Robert O'Wiley, big shout out to him for believing in me. And then my people at Conquer BJJ, all the people who continue to believe in me, just thank you all. And a fan of mine, I'm a fan of yours.
Hey, Robert, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate your expertise on this topic. I'd love to talk with you more about it. I'm very curious myself on everything, and I love being able to revisit the Wobblies. That was great. All right, man. We'll talk to you guys soon.
For sure.
Thank you so much.
All right.